listening to Instinct Radio.
Welcome back, Sanctuary family. We're live once again here at Instinct Radio, and I have with me today Zacharias Muhammad,
Yes, ma'am.
founder and president of United Eye Campaign. He's gorgeous, isn't he? Yeah, chocolate. What I can't ask you back. Regina?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're young and stuff, but
I know you weren't asking me.
I'm too old. Just tell me if I'm too old to say you cute. Like, I'm 40, so I might be too old. Fix your face back.
You know, he didn't want me to answer that question like that. Like, no dude ain't about to answer that.
No, there ain't nothing sweet about that. He don't play the game, so no,
Right.
he wasn't even on.
They're not too young for you to say that. He's got to be in his 30s, right? I was calculating over.
Look, she said he graduated in 2001. Yeah. So tell me about how you got started. So first of all, from Riverdale, the Dale, Clayco.
Mhm.
How did you get here? How did you? I know you say you got inspired by Minister Cherie, but tell me, like, seriously, the steps from Riverdale to this place that you're in.
Well, I was born I'm a Grady baby,
Me too. Okay.
and I was born in
You a great baby, Jack?
No.
You fake. Wait, go ahead.
the west side of Atlanta in Bankhead.
I'm from Bankhead, though.
But you're no great baby.
My family moved around, and back when Riverdale was a suburb where white people were, we moved out there, and you know, as we began to just live out there, it began to turn more dark as time went on, and so just having the background, the spiritual background, and I would say the community involvement has always been in me.
Okay.
So I never became like necessarily like a product of my environment, but I do appreciate what Riverdale and Clayton County added to me as a person. So, you know, I just try to represent the positive side or whatever that may be.
Because I started teaching at Riverdale in 2006. By the time I got there, it was different. The
Yeah,
white flight
definitely.
had already taken place.
Yeah, I
you know
heard.
what I mean? So Riverdale, you know, I always called them paper gangsters because I'm like, ain't no projects down here. Y'all act like y'all hard, you know. But it was just that whole, like, they wanted to be gangsters so bad. And I think, to me, those people are worse than real gangsters, because real gangsters understand there's consequences when you out here playing them games, you know. But like people who only see it on TV and they want to play cops and robbers, like, that's a whole nother level of stupidity to me. So by the time I got there, it was just a whole different.
Well, to their credit, to a degree, I mean, I understand. I saw the whole change of everything. I saw the whites when they were there. I saw the white flight. I saw, you know, when the housing became cheaper and people from the city came out to Clayton County to get what they thought of as a better quality of life. So some of that culture was brought out there. So it was kind of mixed with those that necessarily were from the house, but also those that were from the city that came out there and kind of mixed in and blended in, and it became kind of dangerous at one point.
Yeah. And so a couple of things that happened, just to add some perspective to that. Before I became a teacher, I had a social service nonprofit, and I worked with Atlanta Housing Authority. So when Atlanta decided to get rid of all its projects, a lot of those people ended up going to Clayton County because they had Section 8 vouchers or whatever the case may be. There was no more public housing there, but people still went there because they had, you know, they could afford in other ways to get it. And so that, when Atlanta did what it did, that caused a lot of what happened in Clayton County. And then immediately after that, Hurricane Katrina. And so Clayton County, the year that I got there, you know, there was this big scandal in the state because a lot of different school districts were reporting how many students they had received as evacuees, right? And so, you know, of course, they got additional money from the state government and from the federal government for serving those students. And Clayton County reported the highest numbers of, you know, new students who came from the Gulf area. Clayton County was the only district that did not over-report, they under-reported. So you had a lot of turmoil going on because, of course, those kids come in, they have trauma, you know, but there was nothing done to help heal them. Nothing was done to help heal the emotional wounds of what that experience might have been like for those students to be, you know, here one day, this is your whole life, this is all you know is ninth ward. And the next thing you know, you in the Superdome, and the next thing you know, you're not even in New Orleans anymore, you in Georgia. You know, your family been on a charter bus or you lived in a FEMA trailer, you know what I mean? And so there was trauma, and we know that trauma affects education in so many ways. And so you started to see like the graduation rate go down. You started to see, at the same time as we're having this impetus to put testing scores in control of everything. And so that was what I saw. That's what I saw, a lot of the demographic change. And so when I say like the kids who were there, just they had no real concept of what it was like to be in the ghetto, but they wanted it so bad. And then you had these people who maybe they did know what it was like. You know, you from Grady Homes, you come to Riverdale, you know, you had a different experience. And so so that was kind of some backstory that took place at public policy. And I think a lot of times when we see poverty and things like that, we underestimate the significance that public policy plays in creating those conditions. You know, like when Atlanta closed down its public housing, they increased the homelessness in this city.
Definitely.
I mean, because they can give you a Section 8 voucher, but if you got a criminal background, who will let you rent their property? Or say, for instance, your mother, and they said nobody with a criminal record can live in my home, but you got a 15-year-old son that got caught shoplifting. So now you got to decide: are we all gonna live together in the car, or are we gonna make him live in the car while we live in the house? Because I can either sacrifice my 15-year-old son, or I can let all of us be homeless. And so that's when you start to see an influx of a lot of families who were just totally displaced because those public policies. So just wanted to add that. And
No,
I just
that's
wonder-
real. I was out in Bourne Homes community at that time, fight for that very thing, but right before it closed down. So I understand exactly what you're talking about.
And when you do these types of things like Unite or Die, are you able to see the influence of that public policy? Like, at what level do you see that?
I see it at the greatest level, and how it's damaged. Right now, we have an ongoing campaign in the Bluff called "I'm Staying,
That's bad.
Not for Sale."
That's what bad is from.
Okay. So
He's so proud of him. Yeah, see how God did? Look.
yeah, so we wanted to go where the real problem was, and that happens to be the worst zip code in the city of Atlanta. So we're organizing ways. It's going to take us, really. That's where it starts. Us being organized, us being having a good strategy and plan, and us coming together in unity to solve the issues that we face. See, when we have the power of the people, then we can affect change in public policy. But when we're not organized and have a collective thought, and our leaders are selling us out, then with no consequence, then we won't have what we need as a people, and they can walk all over us.
And so when you say consequence, I know that for me, that's a very real thing. And I think, why do we continue to let people pretend to serve us who are not serving us? You know what I mean? Like, if you're the only one that's benefiting from you having an office, then you shouldn't be there. Like, I should see some real change. I should see some real growth. I should see some real economic impact. I should see some impact on the quality of my education. I should see impact in all those areas if I'm electing you to serve me. But if you're the only one that's benefiting from that title, that office, that pay, or whatever it is, you don't need to be there. And so when you talk about consequences, what are some of the things that you yourself would like to see for elected officials who are not, serving the community?
First, I want to see us unite, those that are concerned with the community, those that are in the community, those that are organization, grassroots, whatever level of organization you're on, to unite in our different areas. So these things, especially the educational system, we have to take control of that first. And we have to stop depending on those that are empowered to serve us. We have to make them serve us by having control of what we do, and that's what in every facet of Black life, we have to make them do what it is that they're supposed to do.
I've been saying that for years, and actually I had been in the process of trying to start, because I had a little bit of a background when I left Clayton County with working with charter schools, and I saw the way that they were using that system to isolate themselves, and I said, well, dang, if you could figure out, I'm thinking about how when they did Brown versus the Board, and Reverend Griffith in Farmville said, we're not opening our own schools to replace public schools. We do know that it's their job to teach our students, but until they decide that they're going to do what's in the best interest of our students, we're going to take those same laws that they created to use against us, and we're going to use those laws to create our own schools, and we're going to be in control of our schools. And I was trying to get the community to understand, look, no, all charter schools are not for your people. But if you can figure out how to manipulate that law, because the law is the law, figure out how to use that law to make it so that you can start your own school. I'm not ever worried about what other people have. As long as my kids can have better than that. You understand? And if I could go right in there and design my own school for my people and run that school and give my kids exactly what they need, my kids can compete with anybody.
Yeah.
That's the nature of what we have lost when we integrated. So integration itself is not bad as long as you're not going to assimilate and strip everything you had that belonged to you. Your identity is missing when you do that. So that, you know, but you're right, because even when we were trying to build a school, people were so stuck on being loyal to a system that was broken. I'm like, you're seeing that this is not working.
Well, we're working. We have an education department at Unanada, and so that's why we did the multiple cities, is to first send a shockwave that we're ready now to take control of where we live. But it starts with that educational system. So what we have done in Atlanta, we want to spread throughout the country and eventually the world. But we're working with the Washington cluster and those things that are going on with Washington High School, and just schools are closing down as we speak, you know. But that's a prime opportunity for us to come together and take those buildings and actually put the curriculum together that's going to serve our community in the best
I'm
interest.
down to help in any way that I can.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
mean,
Thank you.
I think when you have, I'm a national award-winning educator, and so, you know, I've served in every level in the state of Georgia on education. If anything that I can do to help, to be of assistance, I will.
Most definitely. That's what it's all about.
That's what we are. It's time, you know. And I heard you say, "What time is it?" in your speech.
Yeah.
And you know, I believe that. I mean, I know I'm a little militant for some people, but
No, I mean, I asked the question to the people at the mosque yesterday, what time is it? And the answer was wartime.
what time?
They've already declared war on us.
They-
It's
they
just
did
we
it
have
long
to
time.
stand
When
up and
when
fight.
they came over there and stole your people, they did that. What
Yeah.
you mean? They been did that
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of years ago. How you steal somebody and then they want, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
why you waiting on them to? Anyway,
I mean, Georgia is right now in the process of trying to take control of the schools.
the opportunity district.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, war is already declared.
Okay.
But who's gonna fight?
Yeah. So, and when we were trying to build a school, one of the things that we were trying to tell the parents is that, listen, this school that you're loyal to may not even exist in the capacity that it currently exists. So we were trying to put the school in South Fulton County, but we were going to serve the entire state. So any kid that could get to us, we were going to bus them in, you know, shuttle, whatever we had to do to get them there. But there are 60 schools in that area that are going on the Opportunity School District. He will have his own superintendent that answers to nobody but him. Anything that he wants to do regarding those poor colored kids' schools, he's going to have the capacity to do.
Well, I look at what the Honorable Minister Farrakhan has taught us through the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said, do for self or suffer
That's right.
the consequences. And now we're seeing the consequences of us not doing for self. Like we said, integration, he called it a hypocritical trick. And it was a trick. So we lost everything black and we integrated everything white, and now we're at the bottom of it and begging for the crumbs off of the rich man's table. We have to unite and make our own table.
That's what
And we have the ability, we have the skills, we have the gifts. So what is lacking us? It's our fear of our enemy and our lack of respect for self.
That's right. And I always say, if you're scared, say you're scared. But don't use all these excuses when really it's because you're scared. You know what I mean? There are going to be some people who got to get hurt. There are going to be some people who got to get their lives. Now, if that's not your job, stay in your lane and do it. If you're supposed to cook, then you cook. You understand? The military operates on so many different levels. Everybody's not out there toting a gun. But the people who are supposed to be out there doing that, stop being a punk. I'm sorry. But somebody got to give up some stuff in order for us to get this. And I say all the time, I may not even be alive to see the benefit of the things that I believe need to be done. But we should never leave this burden on the next generation.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of us leaving behind and just hoping we die and get to heaven. Meanwhile, we leaving all this foolishness behind. Like, are you going to stop being selfish and love the people behind you enough to make a change, make that sacrifice for them? Sometimes it's not even about you. Yeah, you might have to lose a lot of stuff. But what do you really have anyway?
Exactly.
What do you really own? What do you really have that they can't take from you?
That's the question I
You
asked.
don't own your water. You don't own anything. So even your house, if they want to come in there and take it, they'll find a way to take it.
Eminent domain.
So you really don't own anything. It's an illusion.
Yeah.
It's an illusion of control. It's an illusion of power. And you are a puppet. And whatever they tell you to do, pretty much that's what you're going to do.
That's true.
And so you got to be willing to give it up or shut it up. And it's just time. You know, so when I heard you say what time it is, wartime, I'm like, I can get with this brother. I can dig that. I can dig that. Thank you. All right. So tell us a little bit about the events that you had this weekend.
So we had September 17th, 2016, we had 22 cities march in the worst crime zone throughout their city and throughout America. So we wanted to show a demonstration of love, so we did a silent march and we let our signs speak for us on how we wanted our communities to be. And the main goal is to make our communities safe, clean, and successful. And that's what we're working towards. We know it starts with something like a march or whatever we start with, but at the end of the day, it's going to take some real programs and some tangible results.
And so the 22 cities that you had, can you just list some of them?
It was South Central LA, East LA, Detroit, Chicago, Brooklyn, Atlanta, Orlando, Charlotte, Baltimore, Phoenix, Greenville, Mississippi, Las Vegas.
That's beautiful.
Praise God.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Wow. And so we talked a little bit about it was an event directed towards the youth. Is that what was held at the mosque on Sunday, the follow-up event?
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
So, like I said, I was youth minister in the Southern region. So 10 years ago, we still hold the record of having the highest attendance in the mosque outside of when Minister Farrakhan come. And I was doing the speaking then. And so we had kind of like a reunion this past Sunday, but we wanted to have it a part of the National Day of Nonviolence weekend. So we invited different artists and street organizations to come together to let's solve these issues and let's come together for peace. So our brother David Banner came through yesterday, and several different street organizations came together, and it was tying their rags together and saying that they're ready to be involved in this peace we're trying to create in the streets.
And so, what were some of the messages that came out of yesterday's event at the mosque?
It was just a whole bunch of unity and love and peace. That's what everybody really was the central message.
I'm going to ask you a question, and it may take you a minute to process and let me know if you need to take a break. But if you could say anything to your people that might be able to inspire them to move, just do something, like go back to Bunchy Car, just do something, what would you say to your people?
Unite or die. I think every human being wants to survive. I think that's at the core of every human being. And if we don't come together, it's so vitally necessary for us to unite, not just come together for an event, but strategically unite to solve the issues that we face as a people. And if we don't do that, we are dying and will continue to die and ultimately become extinct as a people.
I like that. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want you to tell people how they can get involved.
Thank you.
Sanctuary family, we'll be right back.
This is crazy important.
In the mix. The biggest station in the world. All of today's hits. You're listening to